And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. This is the weekly Tier 2 members only Q&A or question and answer period that we do every week for all the members. And for those of you, because I might make this public depending, those of you that are new, I do this every week with the Tier 2 members specifically. It's part of the perks of the Tier 2. It's pretty much for people that want to get their coaching in without having to pay the price. I always tell people first consider the tier 2, even for a month. I think it's like a third of the cost of working with me for an hour, and you get to ask me 4 times a week, pretty much, unlimited questions, right? So we're gonna dive into that. For some members, I always allow them to. The ones that won't be participating to leave their questions behind. And I get to those questions at the beginning of the live stream. So that way, when they watch the replay, they don't have to watch the whole thing if they don't care, and they'll get their coaching and their guidance that way. So we're going to dive right into the first questions left by the people that won't be here, and the other ones are going to be here live. And we're going to have the lurkers as well that just love listening and getting their little tips and tricks from here. So I'm excited, and we already got people. Let me organize this a little bit better. How are you guys, everyone? Those of you that joined, I apologize for being a couple minutes late. I was setting up the camera, and I recently bought. I'm excited. Today we're doing a test, guys. We are doing a test. I hope my microphone's working. We are doing a test, and this test, we're gonna test this cable out, because you know how sometimes I would be in the middle of a live stream and then boom, it just goes black, right? I did some Googling, because the last time I did it, it can't be because of the temperature, because it happened like 5 minutes in. And I'm concluding it's either the USB-C part, like the dock in my computer that I stream from, has to be replaced and tightened or whatever so it doesn't screw up, or it's the cable itself. So what I did was I went out and I bought the most fanciest cable, the highest transfer rate that I could find. So we're gonna test it out. If this stream has zero issues, good chance it was the cable then. So if the screen does go black, or I pause or whatever, or it cuts out, just know there was most likely the same issue that I still haven't diagnosed yet. And I'm gonna swap to my webcam. And so just give me a couple minutes, a few minutes to kind of unplug the camera and then swap over to my webcam real quick, like I did last time. How you doing, Ash? Nice to see you. Okay, so we are going to get into the questions. I have them here. Okay. And by the way, for those of you here, I hope you guys have had a wonderful week and weekend. We still have, at least those of us in North America, we have a few more hours left, or not a few more hours. We have, you know, 8 hours left until the day is over. So, and for those in Europe, you guys have a few hours left. So I hope you guys have at least enjoyed the weekend and are going to enjoy the rest of what you guys have. And what's it called? I don't know if actually I'm allowed to share this, because she didn't ask me not to share it. She just her reasoning. Yeah, you know what? I don't think she's gonna mind. I'm just not gonna name her. But if you're here, or you watch this on the replay, because she is a member as well, feel free to introduce yourself or share it with public people if you want. But I had a member share with me multiple success stories, and she just told me she didn't feel like posting them. I forget the reason, to be honest. This was like yeah, I honestly forget the reason. It wasn't for privacy reasons. I think she just didn't want to be a bother or spam or something like that. But if you're watching this, I just want to say congratulations to you and to the other members, and even some viewers. I got some viewer emails too of people that don't even work with me, and they just message me, and they're telling me certain things, that how, one video, something I said click for them. I had a person that was homeless at one point that found me, and he left a comment on one of my older videos, and I responded to him, gave him some advice, and they ended up sharing that they're working now, and so on and so on. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about them too in the recent past. That's so funny. I was going to send you a message this morning about a success story. See, that's what I mean. I was actually talking about this with a client of mine, and this client is also part of the membership. And I don't know if she's in the tier 1 or tier 2, but she did mention that she likes the membership. And when I was kind of discussing, because near the end of our call, we just kind of had a little 5-minute chat afterwards, and I was the almost homeless. Yes, there you go. There's another person, actually, a different profile picture, but very similar story. So yeah, it's interesting seeing stuff like that, especially when people's circumstances are so dire, right? So I always say congratulations to all you guys. But anyways, I was telling this client, it's like, at first I was thinking, for the first few months, like, am I Am I explaining things well in the live streams? Like, what could I be doing better? So on and so on. And then I started thinking, am I doing a good job installing knowledge, like passing on knowledge to you guys? And then shortly after, I just noticed a bunch of success stories from a lot of the members, and my questions were answered then, right? And I just was sharing with the client, how beautiful it is to see that, you know, um, the first few months is people taking little tidbits here and there, getting these little nuggets of information, and they're learning their own ways to apply the concepts. And now it's like I'm seeing so many members, so many of you guys are now finally just starting to come into your own, and some of you came here a little later, and that's fine, right? I would assume it's the repetition that's helping things stick to you guys. So congratulations to all of you. I'm very proud of all you members, seeing all you guys succeeding and getting all these little stories here and there. Some of you full success stories, some of you big movement that are almost there. As long as you don't go back to your old self, like it's beautiful to see. So I just wanted to share that with you guys from the bottom of my heart. And I still got to get to the question, so I apologize, guys. Let's see what everybody's saying. Let me just make this easier. I'll move this here, and I think I'll do a separate window for that. Okay. Let's see. I had a picture from Zidane. I changed pictures and username. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Was your old one a red profile picture? Because the person that I'm specifically remembering as well is has a red profile picture as well. I don't know if that was yours. Um, because there was actually a few people that were in a very similar situation with being homeless, except one of them had a relative that they didn't even know or something like that. Was like, what's it called when you get removed, twice removed or something like that from the family? And there was like a big argument, da, 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 and that person ended up connecting with them and hooking them up with a job, and beautiful. It's crazy how the law works. So I love seeing that. And for you, Bruce, that's honestly amazing. Like I told you the first time, like I get it. It's not easy. It's tough, and I've been there. I've been in the with all the pressure on me. So I fully get it. That's why I love teaching about money and love, because those are the two things I have the most experience with. Health, I still play around with it. I actually had some recent health success stories I just never shared with you guys, and I guess I could if you guys care, but um like love and money are like the two things I have the most consistent experience with. So that's why I love teaching those two things the most, just because I've it's like clockwork for me if I'm consistent. Let's see. Hi, Michael. Happy Sunday. Seeing a bit of positive movement. My dreams are improving. Okay, good, good. Along with some of my internal reactions too. Ignoring my thoughts of my 3D by labeling them as the old story. You know what? There's nothing wrong with that, right? I think a previous version of me from maybe years ago might have said, you know what, change, do things a little bit differently. But at this stage, eh, whatever works for you works for you. I've evolved enough to understand that not everyone has to do things the way that I do things, right? And that's why I've always taught the concepts, because deep down I've always known, right? I've always known that the whole world isn't going to do everything and see everything the way that I do. And there's nothing wrong with that. And through my own experiences, I've seen people get success taking some things of mine, but then applying it in their own way, right? Like maybe I share a specific technique of how I used a certain, concept, and then they borrow that, but then they tweak it a little in their own way. And then it's not something I would do personally, maybe, but it works for them. So how can I sit here and judge, right? So even though I personally wouldn't label it the old story, and in case you're wondering what I would label it, I would just label it as it's my patterns that I've naturalized, just, trying to stay natural, right? And I'm not giving them the opportunity. That's kind of how I look at it. Um, but if you want to label it the old story, it's technically not wrong too, because if you think about it, like if that's something, because deep down what's happening is that's the pattern that you've naturalized for so long, right? The consistent going back to the problem, the consistent then reacting to it, and then the consistent focusing on it and being upset by it throughout the whole day here and there, right? That is what I call naturalizing. You're fusing yourself with those states, those beliefs. So when you're doing that, and of course, when you start now changing and you start trying to focus on the more positive things and the lovely things and the results, the solutions, of course, it makes sense then for then the old, I guess, as you say, the old story, which to me is just the old patterns that you've familiarized yourself with, or at least naturalized, is just making its appearance to, because it's what it's been trained to do, right? Your brain, it's what you've taught yourself to do. So if you want to call it your old story, 100%. I have no disagreements or arguments with that. If it helps you look at that, these ideas from that perspective and a healthier perspective, then do it. There's nothing wrong with that. And if it helps you to kind of borrow what I said and change that perspective a bit, they're fine. Whatever works for you. There's no right or wrong. And I think as during this year, you're gonna see me kind of really emphasize that it's not about walking a fine line perfectly. It's just about making sure you're doing things that make you feel good, right? That you're comfortable with. So keep doing what you're doing. And remember, the fact that you are noticing different reactions internally. That's you being able to observe as a soul to say, hey, I've made changes within myself and they're starting to naturalize because I notice my reactions are not the same. So, in my opinion, I would be celebrating. I would be jumping for joy. I would be happy. I'd be like, wow, okay, I'm at least halfway there at the very least, right? Isn't that exciting? Because you're now is the fun part where you get to now further fuse yourself with the healthier beliefs, fuse yourself with the realities and the solutions in those realities. And that's where things get fun, in my opinion. Okay. So keep up the good work, Shy. Honestly, I'm really proud of you. And I'm fully aware, like I remember you, of course. I fully know your circumstances. I know how scary it is and stuff like that. So just understand whatever helps you get through it. It's not up to me to tell you, this is right or wrong. I can only tell you how I view things and why I view it that way. And all you have to do is take whatever resonates with you, and whatever doesn't, just throw it out. I don't take it personal. Trust me. You guys don't have to do everything the way that I do it. That's why I don't teach you techniques. I teach you concepts. I teach you how reality actually works. And from there, you can then form your own way of applying those mechanisms. I love the new perspective. You're going about things in the sense that you're preaching, finding things that make more sense to that person individual. Yeah, thank you so much, Ash. Yeah, that's really what it is. I used to be years ago. I used to be very different, and over every year, you're gonna see me change the way that I teach. I'm not the same person that I was. Even when I made my first video, it's very different the way I teach, the way I see things, and you're gonna see me evolve every year, every 3 months, every 6 months, whatever it may be. But that's because I'm always studying. But on top of that, I'm applying new perspectives. I'm seeing, I'm not doing it from the perspective of, oh, let me test this so I can then teach it. It's more so me just being curious and just changing things and seeing what works for me. And then if I feel good about it and I try it again and again and again, then I'll share it with you guys, right? But for me, I'm just trying to evolve just like you guys are, right? It I wish I had someone like me when I was new to the law that I could just be in a membership with or talk to or something. Um, I didn't. I only had the books, and to be honest, I like it that way. I like it that way still to this day. But if I had someone like myself that just studies the books and then just explains it simply, man, I would have been so happy. Like, would have saved me so much time. I like to label it the old me. Yep, Bruce, that's 100% fine. If because technically, yeah, it is. Like, let's break it down. What's the old me? It's the old version of you that habitualized certain things. It's the same thing. It's just kind of labeled in a different way. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. If that's what works for you, 100% keep doing it. And anyone that tells you to not do it, don't listen to them. Trust me. Just listen to whatever your instinct tells you. If it makes you happy, like your body and your heart and your mind happy to do it, then just do it. You can't be wrong. Okay, we are going to get into the questions. Um, one second, let me move this here before I forget. Okay. Okay. Okay, Bruce, I'm gonna start with your question, even though you're here. So at least you'll hear it live then, which is great. So let me move this here for a second. You know what? I want to put this on a separate. Uh, one second. Sorry, guys. I have to split this into two windows. I love having an ultra wide monitor. Lets me have so many things open at once. Okay. Now, now it's so good. There we go. Okay. Let me get a little drinky poo first. Hold on. My throat's so dry. Oh, nice. All right. Hi, Michael. I will leave a question in case I'm late. Can you comment on the fear of not being chosen? Someone else stealing your SP or having access to them? Context: I have a history with jealousy and playing detective. Oof. Oof. I know exactly. Um, I know exactly what you mean. And recently, I got triggered when I came across the pictures of SP at some parties. It's so funny that you mentioned this because, like, Seth has a, I forget what it might be in the nature of personal reality, but I forget it. Don't quote me on that because it might have been in a personal session as well. Um, but he literally said, like, whatever you seek, you're going to find. And he explains, like, um, people search just like seeking cures for cancers. Eventually, they'll find them. Just like people searching for evidence that bad stuff's going on, they're gonna find it. It's all a matter of time. So, like when I read that, my brain goes straight to that thing that Seth says, where he's pretty much saying, "Hey, if you're looking for bad stuff on her social media or whatever, you're gonna find it." And lo and behold, you proved him correct. So it's like I love seeing evidence of the law all around me. I got triggered when I came across pictures of SP at some parties, and after tracking it, I noticed it's this exact fear. I don't even know what happened, yet my mind creates all these third-party scenarios to feed the quote unquote old stories. I'm reminding myself of the law, and every time this comes to mind, I'm trying to use it as a reminder to be more disciplined and buckle down because none of this matters if we can be together within 2 months from now. Say hi to the cats and wish you all a great life. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, the cats are actually sleeping. I fed them just before this live stream, and every time they eat, they have their ritual. They clean themselves, and then they just take a nap. And I have the two little beds beside each other, so they just hop in their own little cave beds, and they're just sleeping right now. But I'll let them know once they're up. Okay, so the fear of not being chosen. Honestly, well, first things first, let's break it down. The fear of not being chosen only comes down to your self worth in the end, at the core of things, right? So when you understand that the fear of not being chosen, that only happens under a very specific situation, right? Think about it. There's only one way that anyone can ever feel negative. This is the truth, right? And that way is when they're not identified with, God or their awareness or, their I am, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter what you label it. When you're disconnected, right? When you're not really in the moment believing that this is your personal reality, that you are God that chose to experience itself. So therefore, it could experience what it's like to actually be vulnerable, what it's like to lose, what it's like to love, what it's like to experience the pain, but also the good, right? Because remember, at your full form, you could never, ever, ever experience this desperation, this sadness, or in your case, this fear of not being chosen. You in your full form could never in a million years feel unchosen. Like, think about it. Imagine you were kind of you're put into life, right? Imagine you come to earth. So imagine you're this almighty God, which is true, by the way. You're this almighty God before you came to earth. You're this almighty God in full form. Created everything, earth, the rules to it, gravity, everything, how babies are made, veins and how they carry our blood and how the heart pumps it, like all these intricate details. You created it all, okay? And now imagine you make everything, right? Relationships, all these things, right? And then you come to earth and you find out, okay, you got to pay taxes, you got to make money, there's heartbreaks, you can, have the love of your life, or you could be heartbroken, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. So you come to earth, but the difference is you didn't give yourself amnesia like you did in your life. Instead, you come to earth with all the knowledge of God. Now, you would know not only are you eternal, but you would know how to manifest everything instantly. And you would know that in the end, you are worthy just for existing. You would know all the answers to all your problems. You'd be able to snap your fingers and make everything fixed. Do you not think that that would get boring very fast, right? Maybe for you, from your perspective, when you go from, oh, I've been suffering for so long, I would love to have all that. Trust me, after a certain amount of months or years, that's gonna die down. No amount of money, no amount of women, no amount of men is gonna make you happy because it's not the same as feeling the way that you feel and then earning it and then reflecting it and then seeing your own power and discovering it. It's very different. So that's why, like, I always tell people, you have to realize you made this video game. In other words, you made Earth and you threw yourself in it. You literally went into a dream so that you could then experience what it's like to actually be limited, because there's no other way that you could have experienced this. You wanted to experience what it's like to be limited in billions of different perspectives. That's why you fragmented yourself into 8 billion plus different souls. and you're all feeding perspectives to the same one. In other words, the thing where we come from, that our source. So when you look at it like that and you realize, okay, so I'm God that in my own dream, and in this dream, I'm able to reflect this whole reality, this training ground, this heartbreak, this stuff that seems so real. But realistically, like, you are God dreaming. Just like Neville says, you're the eternal dreamer dreaming eternal dreams, I think it was, something like that. And that is the truth. You are eternal. And that's why when you study near death experiences and you look at all their stories, there's a reason why they all say, I woke up. We all woke up, right? All the ones telling the truth that are not doing it just to be on YouTube or be in a video, the ones that are all telling the truth all around the world all have the exact same experiences. They tell you that they woke up, they returned to who they were, their full form, so on and so on. And when you recognize that they're all saying the same thing that's taught in Seth books and Neville's books, you realize, hey, something's got to give then, right? So when you kind of know that, and that's why for me, like, I can't look at the idea of, oh, I'm not going to be chosen. It's like, how can I? I have physical evidence in my life that shows me, like, even if we throw away the idea that, hey, God is in a dream and they're dreaming this limitation so they can experience what it's like to be Michael from my perspective as a limited soul. It's like, okay, let's throw that out. Let's just say we have no evidence of that in a bottle, so we can't believe it. Okay, throw it out. I still have evidence that what I do in my brain and in my heart changes the events outside of my body. So for me, I don't have to sit there and, worry about, stuff like that. Of course, I can look at results and be unhappy that it got there. Of course, and that happens to me too. I'm not perfect. Nobody that's teaching the law is perfect. I hate to break it to you. We all have our own problems in our own different ways because we're all here to evolve for certain things, right? And you know, that's why I tell you guys, like, don't worry so much because you're here to learn your lessons. And this is part of it. Think about it. What is you having a fear of not being chosen? What's it forcing you to do? It's forcing you to evaluate your beliefs of self worth. And once you finally fix those beliefs of self worth, you're going to have decades of beautiful, loving memories. And therefore, you're going to take those new beliefs and those experiences, and you're going to then take it with you for the rest of your future lives as a soul. So that's why I say appreciate the now, appreciate how bad it is or whatever it is, because it's forcing you to look at yourself. It doesn't make sense to sit there and be worried that, oh, I'm not chosen, that someone's going to steal your SP. Like, think about it. Look at all the events in your brain that you felt and thought about, and then look at all the events that got you here. Did they not match tit for tat? Were they not identical? Of course they are. You're not going to have happy, loving thoughts and emotions and beliefs and then experience what you're experiencing now. You can go back and see the evidence. So when you can see the evidence, the same way I can see the evidence for my life, why are you still then choosing to be like, oh, I'm going to choose to be afraid? Meanwhile, I'm over here saying, I saw how it operates and I've tested it. And instead, I know the truth now, right? Maybe you haven't got to the point where you tested it and got the confirmation 100%, but at the very least, you can look back at your past and even the last, think about it since you met me, right? Look back at since you met me and then look at all the things you did, good and bad, and look at your results today, good and bad. The things that you did well, you got to change, right? For example, being homeless and finances. And now you're here, you're able to pay for the tier 2 membership, which is amazing, right? That's congratulations. And look back at what you did. Was your life changing before you listened to whatever it was that I said that kind of helped click things for you? No, it wasn't changing. But then you made a conscious change, which then consciously your 3D had to change and reflect it back to you. And I had nothing to do with that other than telling you information. At the end of the day, you applied it, you went into your brain and you made the right decisions. And I'm sure if you go back to your life, you're going to find tons of evidence, similar situations. So when you go back and you remind yourself of these things, then why would you use those same mechanisms to sit here and say, I'm afraid of not being chosen, that someone's going to steal my SP? It makes no sense. It's like being told that, you have a red shirt and then being like, I'm worried that I don't have a red shirt. It's like, what are you talking about? So there's so many ways. Like, if you were to ask me this question 100 different times, I would give you 100 different answers because I don't do everything the same way every single time. But just understand, it makes no sense for anyone manifesting an SP to sit here and be worried that they're not going to be chosen or this or that. The only way that will happen is if you as an adult choose to sit here and then be like, okay, I know everything Michael says. I believe it. I see the evidence of it in my life, blah, blah, blah. And I'm still gonna choose to be worried and still gonna be upset at the 3D and still be bothered that they're gonna give access to another guy or girl and that they're gonna fall madly in love and da da da. Like, that makes no that's you as an adult choosing that for yourself. There's no technique out of that. It's just if I was talking to a friend, I'd say, "Quit being stupid." That's the truth. I'd say, "What are you doing? Why are you hurting yourself like that?" I get it. If you don't believe in the law, it's a different story, right? Then I get it. It's a different challenge because it's like you don't even believe that what you're doing is gonna work. That I fully understand. But if you see evidence of your life again and again and again, and you even have even a 1% spark of belief that, hey, you know what, there's a chance this could work, then it's like you got no excuse to sit there and be like, I'm still afraid that I'm not gonna be chosen. It's like, okay, then the conversation has to become, do you just not believe in the law? And if you say, no, I believe in the law, then it's like, okay, so why don't you believe it for this then? And that's why for me, it always comes down to you either believe the law or you don't. And if you don't believe in the law, I always tell people reflect on your past, reflect on all your experiences, reflect on all the things, good and bad, and what you were doing inside yourself, and then see the evidence that what came after. And you're always going to see that it matches. And for me, that gave me enough faith to test the law, which then I saw the evidence, and then it kind of solidified my belief in the law. That's what how I did it, right? And that's how I teach you guys to do it because it was logical to me and it worked. So if you do believe in the law, then it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Right? We're both souls with free will. We both believe the law. We both know that we're worthy just for existing. And the only way we can not be worthy is if we say we're not worthy by believing that we're not worthy. So if you know that you're worthy by just existing, and whether you believe that you're not or you believe that you are, you're going to get the result guaranteed because of how powerful you are. Logically, does it make sense now to sit here and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm still going to be worried that she's going to be with someone else after you just like you heard that pretty much you're gonna push her into someone else's arms. And think of it like that. If it helps you, right? If that pisses you off, great. Think of the idea of like, hey, every time I go back to my old self and do these silly little things that I know better, I'm pushing her or him into other people's arms. Now, do you want to do that moving forward? Knowing this, I guarantee you, your brain's saying, nope, I don't want to identify with that. So that's just a few ways you can kind of look at it. Okay. Let's see. But just one thing before, just remember, like you can't nobody can take anything from you or give it to you in your reality against your will. If something good happens in the sense, for example, that you get them and everything works out, then beautiful. That means that you literally were the cause of that. But if things get worse and worse and worse, and you keep reacting and focusing and keep doing what you're doing, which is you're kind of screwing yourself up. Like, truth be told, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, good job, Bruce. Keep lurking on social media and keep seeking evidence and manifesting more evidence of the bad," which then sends her thought transmission, which tells her get away from Bruce and go to other men. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you to keep doing that because I know that's what's gonna happen, right? So what I will say is, if you don't want any of that to happen, you have to make a decision and say, enough is enough. I'm not going to make another person's life easier, right? Because think about it. Who's helping you get her? Nobody. So why are you going to help another man get her? It makes no freaking sense. Oh, like I get pissed off just thinking of that for you, dude. I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad if I was like knowingly pushing, someone into someone's arm. Oh, it pisses me off just thinking about it. Not, I'm not at you. It's the situation instead. Okay, let's get to the next question. Okay, in the 2 weeks it's been since our call, I've been feeling great, noticing but not reacting to contradictory, gee, I forgot to read, contradictory thoughts has been a lot easier. I've had some more limiting beliefs come up and I've been working through them, but now I'm a little worried I might unintentionally fall into a cycle of noticing the 3D hasn't shifted despite the internal shift I'm feeling, and immediately assume I've got more limiting beliefs and creating a problem that isn't there, even though the reason the 3D hasn't changed might be because everything hasn't fallen into place yet. Any thoughts on this and how to stop being a chronic overthinker? Yeah, 100%. I get it. Like I'm an overthinker. I think all the time, 24/7. And the thing about me is when you kind of yeah, no problem, Bruce. I'm glad it helped you. Like for me, when I'm, thinking in my head like that, I kind of always hold myself responsible, right? So for example, you're mentioning that, you know, let me go back to the first part, the first sentence that I want to touch on. I've had some more limiting beliefs come up and I've been working through them. Like that's great, good. But now I'm a little worried I might unintentionally fall. So right here, you're beginning to create a problem that isn't really there yet. So this is the part where we start now walking that fine line. So you said, now I'm a little worried I might unintentionally fall into a cycle of noticing the 3D hasn't shifted. So it's like, okay, if the 3D hasn't shifted, and this is why I love using logic and the law together. In my opinion, they are oh, but Ash said, "Okay, me." Yeah, okay. Perfect. This will apply to you too. It's like, okay, think about it, right? Oh yeah, exactly. See, you're right, Ash. You do create problems out there. This is Ash, by the way. One second. Let me get ready. Ugh. Okay, one second. Let me this is Ash. Okay, I swear to do. If you guys knew what Ash's SP told them, you'd be so mad at the stuff she does sometimes. Because if I know you guys, if your SPs did what their SP did, you'd be screaming joy and happiness. But watch, this is Ash, right? Imagine everything is going great. All around me, beautiful stuff. SP's telling me lovely things, claiming me this and that, and blah, blah, blah. All my problems are solved. Everything's going well. I got the best movement and confirmation ever. Oh my god, I gotta confess. Okay, confess. Let's hear it. Type it out. Unless you want to share it privately, you can just message me. And everything's going well. And then I decide to go, you know what? Things are going too good. I got to create a problem. And then from there, just start smashing everything and just and just creating problems that don't exist and just like being like, wow. And then from there, then the results stop moving because the focus changed. And then being like, why is the 3D not changing? So just like that, this is and by the way, what I'm gonna share with you is gonna help both of you guys, by the way. So I'm making a little fun playfully because I know Ash. I'm not she knows it's not in bad taste. I've known Ash for a bit. Oh, don't worry, I got a confession last night too. No, like he confessed to me like, oh, okay, so your SP confessed to you last night, and I'm done with the clown antics. Okay, I hope. I mean, to be honest, it's really up to you. I know why you do what you do. I know that he doesn't know why, and it's really just it's up to you. You get to choose if you want to be happy. If you don't want to be happy, that's going to be your choice, right? And that's what I like about life. Like I can't mental diet for you. So it's like I get to watch you just to see, hey, what does Ash do? Let's just see what she wants. And it's like a little ride. You just got to get your popcorn and watch the show. But the fact that he confessed, by the way, congratulations. The question is, what are you doing now? Because you said you're done with the clown antics. But the question is, are you really done with the clown antics? Because if I was you, I'd be celebrating like crazy today. I'd be happy as crap. Um, but anyways, back to the question for the member, by the way, before I get back to chat. So in your case, right, you get worried about, oh, like the 3D is not changing and da da da. First of all, noticing the 3D hasn't changed is like nowhere is not bad, right? Remember, what does Neville teach us? What does Seth teach us? What do all the greats teach us? They teach us that what our consistent focus is and what we believe to be true, or if you want to make it even simpler, whatever we activate the most, whatever emotions we experience the most, because emotion comes from a belief. Therefore, if you experience gratitude, it means you believe you have it, as an example, and blah, blah, blah. You get the point. So, whatever you return to the most, whatever you activate the most, is going to become natural to you and then reflected to you as an experience. So, if this is the case, right, and you know for a fact that, like, for example, you mentioned, right, I think it was in the middle sentence here, you said that you discovered what's called limiting beliefs, and you're now working on them, but you're worried. So, like Neville says, it's the state that manifests, right? And what's natural to you. So, noticing isn't a problem, but the problem is if you then notice that the 3D hasn't changed and now you're getting worried, you went from taking one step to two steps. The moment you take that one step, you got to recognize like there's nothing wrong with noticing 3D hasn't changed. And understand this ties into the limit. Okay, I apologize for that. You know what's so funny? I 100% manifested that. I apologize. Sorry, I cut off mid sentence for the ones watching the replay. It might just look like I cut off and it started again. The screen went black. So I'm trying to figure out why it does that. I don't think it's the cable now. So I think it's something else because I'm trying to narrow it. It might be because I did move and then it might be the USB dock thingy. So I apologize, guys. So anyways, I do remember where I left off. So as I was saying, it connects to the second part, right? And thanks for the patience. Thank you for the patience. Oh wait, you can't hear me? Can nobody else hear me? One second. One second. Okay. Okay, everyone else hear me, so it's shy. Try restarting your app. Okay, there we go. Okay, so anyways, just to get into it, especially before the screen goes black again. It's so funny. I was just thinking, I was like, wow, it hasn't cut off yet. This is this is lovely. I was like, it's working. And then I had a fear. I was like, oh man, I hope it doesn't cut off before the stream ends. And lo and behold, it came. It's like the Bible says, what I fear for has come for me. So maybe I should just change my beliefs on that. But anyways, as I was saying, it's like, okay, so you notice that you had these limiting beliefs, and you notice that you were I am so sorry. Now it should work. I muted the microphone this time, so I apologize. Okay, now you guys should be able to hear me. There we go. Um, I was like, wait a second. I'm now using my webcam. So this is the one I always use if the other one kind of screws up. I think it's the overheating, but at the same, it might be the dummy battery because the dummy battery gets stupid hot. So I'm gonna order a different dummy battery. I'm gonna figure this thing out because I know this camera is really good, but it's known for overheating, and I got a feeling it might be the dummy camera now. Okay. So, anyways, now I can finally finish answering the question for you. So I apologize for the delay on that. Give me one second. I hope this doesn't interrupt the let me turn it down a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now it's not so bright. Thank God. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me now. There we go. So as I was saying, right, you notice the 3D is not changing, but you also notice limiting beliefs. So if you notice limiting beliefs and you're still working on them, then this implies that there's a level of understanding of, hey, I'm still making changes to myself, right? I'm still evolving. I'm still, you know, in other words, I guess leveling up, right? And sorry, let me just fix this microphone positioning, and we're good. So if that's the case, and let's say hypothetically this limiting belief is attached to your self-worth as an example, right? If that's the case, and we know that, without good self-worth, it's going to be very hard to reflect the love that you're kind of craving, right? So when you now look at it from this perspective, it kind of makes sense that perhaps because it's self-worth related, that it won't, in other words, the 3D hasn't changed yet. Because if you know that you're still battling this whole, oh, am I worthy enough? Am I good enough to have my partner? But you're doing really good planting seeds, but you still have that core belief of not good enough, and you still have these concerns, then that kind of like it shows you that you haven't fully let go yet of the old you, right? For example, Neville says, "No, we can't hear you." Wait, what? Hold on. Anyone? Can anyone else not hear me? Okay, so now Ash hears. Okay, for those that can't, let me just type this out. Okay, there we go. For those of you that can't hear, restart your app, but you can't hear either, so it doesn't even matter if I say it. I typed that on the chat for you guys. I apologize, guys. The camera was doing so good, and then I started focusing on it, and then boom, it went to crap. Um, but anyways, as I was saying, that's your evidence as to why things haven't changed, and that's why I say you shouldn't panic. You shouldn't then worry, oh, things haven't changed. It would make sense to be afraid and scared if you did everything perfect. Like imagine you did absolutely everything perfect. Everything. Like zero negative thoughts, zero negative reactions, zero bad core beliefs. Just it was all love. It was all good things. It was all amazing things. It worked. Okay, there you go, Bajia. Beautiful. Everything worked. And you did everything perfect. And then there's no change weeks and months and years. Like let's say you're even in Sabbath, no results, no movement. Now that would be scary. But if you're noticing that you're still having limiting beliefs and you still have things that you're working on, that implies like it's kind of like there's so many ways to explain it. For example, if you know for a fact that you're going to get payment upon completing a job, right? And you sign the contract saying, "Sure, I know I'm going to get paid only when I finish the job." But then being worried that you're not going to get paid, but you haven't done the job yet either, right? It doesn't really make sense. So when you kind of look at it like that, you kind of recognize, oh, okay, so I still have to change myself, which is why things haven't fully reflected. I'm not going to get paid in my reality until I do the job. And the job in this case would be to, naturalize healthier core beliefs. So when you look at it from that perspective, then it becomes a beautiful thing. Then it becomes a reassuring thing. So, just remember that when you're a little worried that I might fall into a cycle, just remind yourself there's nothing wrong with noticing that 3D hasn't changed. And instead, when you notice that 3D hasn't changed, it doesn't hurt to then go back into your mind and ask yourself, have I been consistent? Have I been consistent with the new story, with accepting what I want as if I have it internally and feeling it, regardless of what I see in front of me or what I haven't seen in front of me? In other words, evidence of movement. And more importantly, when you reflect on, oh, are all my beliefs good? Like, do I have good beliefs? Do I have the beliefs required to reflect this? And then you remember, oh, wait a second, I'm battling this core belief, this limited belief about worth. I'm worried about this belief about him or her and how they're going to behave, so on and so on, right? So when you catch these things right then and there, that's your evidence as to why things haven't changed yet. And that's okay, right? I know you're going to hear places and on other videos, I see clips here and there of, that there's nothing to change and da da da. It's true, but you can't just tell beginners that, right? Like people, like even coaches aren't just snapping their fingers like that and changing all their beliefs. Like it doesn't work like that. There has to be something consciously exerted for you to make a choice and then to naturalize it. You're not going to naturalize all your beliefs on the first try. So that's how, you know, you kind of be easy with yourself, be gentle with yourself. Don't worry so much about, what's happening in the 3D. Focus more on the experience, right? If you want love, then you have to make your main priority, like your main experience internally, it has to be love, right? If you want finances, you have to feel financially free. That freedom, that relief, that pride that comes with that, right? Having all your bills paid and all these things. If you want, doesn't matter, good health, and you have to be relieved that you have good health, you get the point, right? It has to come first within yourself. It has to be natural. If a person is planting seeds for the thing they want, but then they go back to bad core beliefs of, for example, I'm not worthy, and this is gonna happen and that's gonna happen and blah blah blah. You're stalemating yourself, right? You're taking 1 foot forward, 1 foot step back, and therefore you stay in the middle. And just like that, the 3D doesn't change. But then it's up to you to recognize: am I doing everything right? Am I making the right healthy choices that I should be making that are gonna get me the change? Or am I going back and forth? And if you're going back and forth, that once again explains why things have not changed yet, right? Sorry about that. I just got a message that scared the crap out of me. Oh, sorry, it's the delivery I have coming. Let me see. Let me zoom this in a bit more. I get this. I get his concern though. It's like you digging for more and more limiting beliefs and more things show up to be fixed. It's like that Seth quote you mentioned about finding what you go looking for. Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. Like if you're constantly looking to fix more and more things, it's never ending. 100%. That's true, right? And that's why for me, I look at things very simple. It's like, okay, most people when it comes to manifesting an SP, it's self-worth. That's the issue. So if you know that self-worth is that core belief you have, then you know right away Oh wow, your phone still makes noise instead of being destroyed. Yeah, it does. It still works. Yeah. Um, it's like that's the beautiful part. Like if you know, okay, I worry the most about that I'm not being chosen, or I'm not good enough, or this or that. Da, da, da. It's all related to self worth at the end of the day. So if you notice that, right then and there, you recognize, okay, there's no more other beliefs to discover. Right? This is the belief, right? Of course, yeah, there might be other unhealthy beliefs here and there, but they're not hiding. Like people sometimes look at beliefs as if like the subconscious is hiding them and you have to dig them up or else you're going to keep getting bad experiences, which is not the case, right? And that's why for me, I don't share the same perspectives as people that are worried that they're going to find more, that there's things left to find, as an example, or get in that cycle of trying to fix things. But I get it, I've seen it, I 100% agree, like I've seen it myself, and I'm glad I never fell into that trap personally, but I can see how people fall into it. So just remember, you know, in your situation, when you're worried that the 3D is not changing, this is me. I like to do a little checklist. Like I mentioned, I always think to myself, what have I been doing that's good? And what have I been doing that's bad? And when you start, you know, recognizing, sorry, I'm just reading chat. You guys are so funny. Michael wants to replace his phone so bad. That is so funny. Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know. I see. Oopsie, I almost like dropped my camera there. See, I get this feeling that this my phone wants to stay with me for a long time because I had the idea, instead of getting a new phone, which I mean I could get, and to be honest, I might. But I kind of want to. I think it's like due time for one. I I was thinking, I was like, why don't I just get the battery replaced instead of having to like charge it? So I keep like smacking my camera because I keep having to recharge it, and like 3 times a day, 2 times a day because of how, like, old the battery is. I should do that just to piss you off. But anyways, that's how I would kind of deal with things, right? I would do that little checklist. What have I been doing good? What have I been doing bad? Right? And I would evaluate what the good stuff is I'm doing and what the bad stuff is I'm doing. If I see a lot of the bad, or I know the bad is equal amounts to the good, that tells me I stalemated myself. And I know for you, the pattern of noticing the 3 hasn't shifted, just remember, it's not about the, you know, like just because you feel good when you plant seeds and the 3D hasn't changed yet, that's not how you should be looking at it, right? You have to, like, you need the belief system required to reflect that experience. So a person who feels loved, maybe you plant 20 seeds, that as an example. So if, let's say each seed, is 2 seconds of fulfillment that you feel. So that's 40 seconds. So in the whole day you felt 40 seconds of fulfillment. That 40 seconds doesn't, it's not like a promise that you're supposed to get moving in a 3D. It's part of the experience of becoming that person. You have to make that person natural to you. That's why Neville says return to it when you crave it, right? When the feeling falls upon you, return to that and embody it. And he says enjoy it, and really like cherish the experience and be aware of having the solution. And the more you practice doing this without the contradictions, then it starts becoming natural, which then reflects. So it doesn't matter, like don't focus so much about what you're feeling inside, right? Focus more on the experience. If you just like the for me personally, when I discovered the law, it was very simple. I just knew that whatever, this is how I looked at it, honestly. And to be honest, if you do it this way, it might just be the thing that makes it work for you. It's the same way to tell a 5-year-old. Whatever emotion you experience the most, at the end of the day, is going to be given to you as an experience. Just think of it like that. So if you know, for example, you're only feeling good emotions, then you know for a fact, hey, I've been doing really good. And therefore you can expect good results. But if you're having core beliefs that you're working on that cause you to feel negative, that are related to your goal, mixed with the good emotions of embodying the states of the wish fulfilled, that's 50-50 to me. So it makes sense that 3D is not moving. So to be honest, like it's hard for me to kind of, that's why I over talk when I explain these things, because I'm trying to attack like 30 different angles, because I don't have you here to be like, oh, it's this thing, it's that thing, it's that. So I can't get specific. So I'm just like trying to attack every angle I could. So at least one of the things that I give you is directly helps you more than others, right? And just remember that it's okay to see not see movement, because think about it, right? Do you wake up, if let's say you're manifesting an SP, when you wake up, are you the epitome of love? Like, are you naturally just loved? Are you just in that, I know I'm loved, it's mine, it's done, it's gonna reflect any day now, any minute now, any hour now. I'm just loved. Everything goes well for me. You know, no bad beliefs, just the best expectations, the best lovely ideas, the best emotions, just all healthy, love, beautiful stuff internally. Is that natural to you from when you wake up? Is this who you are throughout your day? If the answer is no, then logically, can we sit here and be like, I'm shocked that 3D has isn't giving me that? The answer is no, right? So that's another way to look at it. So there's so many different ways to look at it, but it makes no sense to, like, if you know for a fact that you have beliefs that you still need to work on, that's like expecting the result before you actually change. So when you look at it like that, then you realize, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's just I still have to change myself. That's it. And if you're contradicting yourself back and forth while planting good seeds and embodying good beliefs, then of course you're going to experience what you're experiencing, which is stalemating, right? This is what Seth talks about in his book. So does Neville. It's you stalemate the good that you do. So your job is to find what you're doing that stalemates yourself and cut that out, right? And this is the benefit of focusing on healthy beliefs, right? Practicing taking your mind from the bad ideas to healthier ideas, from bad beliefs to healthier beliefs, from bad emotions to beliefs that then give you healthier emotions, things like that. Okay, guys? So that's kind of how I would go about it. How would you feel if you hopped on a live and Michael told you he got a new phone? Focus on the experience. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you guys, you could technically, you could experience that if you wish, but you know, um, Ash just wants me to suffer, and she would never, ever, ever, in her reality, be in the state of the wish fulfilled that I have a new phone, because she likes that I don't have a new phone, right? She likes to be like, "Hey, I got my fancy new phone. Look at me." And I already know, why am I being targeted? I thought this was a group effort. I don't know. You know, it's probably because you're the one that's bullying my phone. Remember, scroll up and look at who made the comment about my phone being all beat up. Let's take a wild guess about it's still working and being surprised. Hmm. I think it was this person named Ash. The state of the phone fulfilled exactly. I'm trying to think. Did I forget anything that I should have told you for your question? I don't think so. Because yeah, I think I said everything I need to say. Otherwise, it would just be repetitive. Let me just double check. I'm just reading this real quick. Even though the reason 3 hasn't changed might be because everything hasn't fallen into place yet. When you say everything hasn't fallen into place yet, if you're talking about your belief system, I would say that's a great way to look at it. But regarding if it's any like the 3D, then hasn't fallen into place. I think that has to be about beliefs then. Um, then yeah, that's a right way to look at it. I'm trying to think regarding the overthinker stuff. Yeah, I think I gave you just how I would kind of look at it. Because, like I said, I'm very logical, right? It makes no sense for me to sit there and to just be like, where are my results? Oh, but I'm still aware of bad beliefs. But where are my damn results? Why is there no movement? You know, for me, it doesn't click, right? There's a huge disconnect there. So that's why I try to explain it the way that I did. And if you need further explanation on something that I said, by the way, feel free to um comment on this video if you want, and I'll see the comment, and I can maybe give you um a further explanation through text or stuff like that. If it helps. I have no idea what you're talking about. I think my twin. Oh, here we go. Here we go, Ash. You know what? You know what? I don't blame your SP for taking his sweet time. Yeah, I said it. She just gasped in real life. She literally gasped. She said, "Wow," in capital letters. That is so funny. Mhm. Yep, I went there. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I'll put myself in his shoes. I'm like, I got this girl who like does all the girlfriend boyfriend stuff with me. I've told her how I feel about her, and she didn't reject me. She's made it very clear that she feels the same way. Why wouldn't I just kick her door down and tell her, like, enough is enough, you're mine. We're done playing these games and wasting our youth. Why wouldn't I do that? If I was their SB, if I was in their body with my brain, why wouldn't I do that? And the only thing that comes to mind is you're a clown. Do you think Ash bullies her SP's phone? I mean, probably bullies him. I don't know about the phone. Um, maybe he's the maybe. Oh, oh my god, maybe he's the pro. Well, I don't know. I mean, does he shape your reality or do you shape your reality? Because this is crazy to me. If an SP tells me, and I quote, "Hey, you know you're mine, right?" or anything like that, and then I somehow am like, it's like, oh, they don't want me. Oh my god. I I get so mad just thinking about it. Like, you are next level. What if I said he bullies me instead, guys? Well, it's probably well deserved to be honest. I mean, I don't know the guy, I never met him, but based off the things I know about you, I would say you probably deserve it, to be honest, because wow. I love trolling in this group. Well, Ash, the good thing is he confessed feelings for you recently again. And it's really up to you if you want to decide if you want to kind of, use that to your advantage. If I was you, honestly, I would be like, in the next 7 days, like your whole life could change. Think of it like that. It depends on what you do now. So I just hope you don't go the clown route where everything is good and you're at the peak of your journey right now. And then you're gonna be like, I hope you don't sit there and be like, let me throw a spiritual tantrum and just set everything back months and just be like, you know what, things are going too good. Kind of sabotage it because I don't deserve love. Wah, and just start throwing crap on the floor. I really hope you don't do that. But only time will tell. See, I'm teasing you to inspire you to prove me wrong. Just so you know. I think I'm doing better. I'm being serious. Okay. Good. I really do hope you're doing better. Honestly. Like, you've been so close for so long. Like, it's just the only thing blocking you is yourself. And this is for anyone that's gonna listen and kind of like listen to this. It's always been yourself. It's never been anyone else. It's just a matter of really just buckling down and being like, enough is enough. We are going to focus on the end result. I don't give a shit what anybody says. They are mine. Like, if that's your mentality, say, nope, he's mine. Nope, he's mine. He texts you, oh, I'm on a date with a Victoria's Secret model. Nope, he's mine. Doesn't matter if he's like, oh, I got invited by the Playboy bunnies to go on a road trip and I'm the only guy there. Your brain has to go, I don't give a shit. He's mine. Doesn't matter what you see, what you hear, what happens. Nope, he's mine. That has to be your mentality and celebrate it. Feel that relief again and again and again until the world proves it to you. This saying goes for me too. My SP's parents called me their son-in-law at one point. There you go. Like, you guys are so close, but it's like you sabotage yourselves, right? And that's okay. It's part of the human experience. You guys are learning, and you will eventually get tired of sabotaging yourselves. And due to that, you might fear. Sorry, you might. Why was I using the word fear? Sorry. Oh, I think it's because I read it in the chat. I fear you're right. That's why. See, there we go. My brain picks up these things. Um, it's like all you have to do is just decide enough is enough. You know, it's just they're mine, right? It's just I don't care. They're mine. I fear you're right. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. So I hope you guys kind of like even this week, honestly, if I was you guys, everyone here that's listening to this, I would at the very least like pick one Neville lecture or one book and just read it. Like, I'm not saying the whole thing, but like 5 minutes of reading it or 10 minutes of reading it. Eventually finish it, but like just every day, a little reading and just go apply whatever inspires you in that little reading you did just for the next 5 days, just for till next Sunday. I'm telling you guys, you guys are gonna realize. This is why I tell people all the time. I had a client that she bought the books because she asked me what books did you read, and I just told her, and so she got those same books, and she's like, I'm gonna study it, and I said, good, like you're gonna save so much time and money. It's it's like the reading is like a built-in reminder. It just tells you the rules of how things work. It's so hard to be worried that you're not good enough or that you're not gonna get your SP or you're not gonna get the money you need or whatever, when you consistently read messages that show you why that's a silly fear to believe in. And not only that, you can prove it to yourself that it's true. So just remember, guys, you guys are all capable of everything that you want. And you got a lot of you members are so freaking close to desire. So many of you guys have your like your results. You had amazing movement. Some of you have your full success stories. Some that don't even talk message me and share with me their success stories. And it's just it's beautiful to see because even though for me, like these lives, I know to the people that don't know the things that I know and have the experiences that I've experienced, I know a lot of the answers in these lives when they watch the replay, it helps them and things click for them. Maybe 99% of what I say in this live didn't click for somebody, but maybe they hear one sentence that gives them a different perspective. And that perspective is what then makes the rest click for them. So that's what I love about these lives, right? Sometimes the questions that I'll get asked here and there, maybe it won't benefit you, but a sentence will change your perspective. And that's why I think, to be honest, we're now starting to see so many movements and successes now with the members. It's like all just piling in together. So it's really nice to see. And honestly, it's going to be beautiful to see both you two with your SP success stories as well, right? And I know that there's TJ as well, doing her thing, having a blast, and she's been doing really, really well. There's so many other members, and a lot that aren't even here that are just doing well. So congratulations to all you guys as well. I know I didn't name some of you because unless I get you guys' permission, I don't really name you guys, but I will talk about certain details here and there, aside from private stuff. Um, so yeah, just keep up the good work, guys. And with that being said, we're over an hour mark. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to let this thing auto upload to YouTube, and then I think tomorrow, I mean, it will be available for the tier 2 to watch as soon as we end this live stream. For everyone else, I'm just gonna wait like 24 hours, let it do this processing thing and whatever. Then I might just make it public. So because I don't think anything public was shared, so I think I could just let the answers help whoever needs to hear it. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for being here. It was lovely. I apologize for the interruption with the camera twice. I was hoping that the second time it wouldn't do it, but I think it was the overheating because of how fast it happened the second time. So a good thing is we got one thing ruled out. So now we're ruling out other things. So I'm gonna do my own little test. I'm just gonna leave my camera on randomly and see what happens with resets until I figure it out. And I'm gonna order the new dummy battery and figure that out. So um, yeah, with that being said, I will see you guys very soon. Remember, keep your notifications on. I will have a video coming out this week, and I'm going to be doing a rapid fire for the members. And I am going to be, I think next month, I might challenge myself with something. I'm thinking about like releasing a video like every 3 days or something like that for the whole month. I'm thinking about it because I really want to challenge myself. I would like to do like every other day, maybe even once a day for 30 days. We'll see. Um, because I like doing it as a hobby. I don't want it to feel like work. So I gotta think what's gonna be that fine line for me. But I really do want to push myself one of these months where it's just content after content after content. And I just want to see what happens in 30 days. And I think you guys will like that and benefit from it too. So I have lots of interesting stuff coming up, and we do have the guide that I'm going to be releasing. That's going to be public for everyone, but I think I'll release it to members first. It's going to be the whole like basics. It's going to be like why I see things the way I see things, and we're going to break everything down per video. Everyone as you pushed out is going to get its own video. Creation is finished is going to have its own video. What a soul is going to have its own video. What earth is going to have its own video. Like it's going to be all these different, just by the time you're done that playlist, it's going to be like, okay, this is how I now view life. That's my goal. I thought it would be the challenge of getting arrested and manifesting your way out. Thank you so yeah, I mean, you could do that too. Thank you so much for all the help, Michael. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Ash, for being here. I appreciate it. It's always nice seeing you. It's nice seeing all of you familiar faces. I appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, the replay will be up in the next couple minutes or few minutes once I end the stream. Yes, have a wonderful rest of your week, guys. Remember, start the week strong and do your best to not fall asleep in negative states tonight, guys. Make sure when you wake up tomorrow, be freaking consistent. If you're manifesting your person, I don't give a crap what you hear, what you say, or what they say, or da da da. Doesn't matter. They are yours. You have to remind yourself it's done. It's done, and feel that reality. Okay, guys. And for those of you manifesting money, anything else, same concept. It's done. Doesn't matter what you see, what you hear. Focus on the story that it's done, because once it becomes natural, the 3D has to prove it to you. Okay, guys? So with that being said, have yourself a wonderful rest of your night. I hope you guys enjoy the show, and I will see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.